Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an olive green inspired makeup look. If you guys are interested in how I got this, please keep watching. Okay, so my skin is already primed. I used the Bobbi Brown Skin Smoothing Pore Perfector. And then for foundation, I used the Maybelline Fit Me in the Matte and Poreless. I'm just going to be blending this out and pushing that into my skin using a damp Real Techniques sponge. I prefer to use a sponge over the brush. I just feel like it gives your skin a much more flawless look and finish. Before jumping into a concealer, I just want to prime my eyes with the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extended Eye Base. Now for concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me. I use concealer also as my highlight. I run this underneath my eyes in a triangle-ish shape, down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, my cupid's bow, and on my chin, which you cannot see. I apologize. I am also going to be using the Real Techniques sponge here just to buff out all the areas where I put the concealer. And now I'm just going in with Nye Translucent Powder on a fluffy brush and just setting my foundation. Going in with powder will just help make other powder applications a lot smoother and not jagged and rough when you try to apply them. Now I'm just going to go and set my under eyes with a powder, but first you really want to make sure that your under eyes are completely cleaned up and have no creases, because if you go into the powder, you are just going to set the creases under your eyes. Here I use the MAC Pro Emphasize, which is just a pressed powder that has some sheen to it and helps reflect light. So I feel like it gives your under eyes or wherever you put it a little bit more glow and life. Now I'm just going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I'm just going to do this off camera because it does take me about 5 minutes or more to do my brows because they're just so uneven. Now I'm just going to highlight my brow bones. I'm using the Mary Luminizer highlighter and I'm using a short shader brush. This one is Sigma's E20. Now to start the eyes off, I'm using this transition shade. This is going to be Soft Brown by MAC. It's a warm medium brown tone. I'm just going to be applying this right above my crease, buffing that into that highlight so everything is blending seamlessly. I'm going to be using a fluffy brush, and this one is the Morphe MB23. Just keep working that back and forth as the product starts to leave the brush. Just spread that around a little bit more so you have no jagged or rough lines. Now going in with the Jaclyn Hill inspired Morphe palette, I'm picking up those two darker shades, the chocolate brown and the purpley brown. I'm just going to be applying this to the outer corner of my eye. I am using an Anastasia brush that came in one of her palettes. The brush is just like the Sigma tapered E40 or the Morphe brush that I normally use. The hairs on this, or bristles, whatever you want to call them, are just a lot shorter, so the brush feels denser and it's just easier to apply product. This way the brush, like the hairs just aren't moving all around. And then I'm going to be picking up a small tapered brush by Sigma. This is the E45. I'm just going to be applying that in my crease. Back in windshield wiper motions, placing it in my crease is just going to give my eye a little bit more definition and make that green shadow that I'm about to apply pop. Now onto the lid, I picked up this olive green shade from MAC. I'm really sorry to say that I cannot find the name of it anywhere. I checked their website. I cannot find it at all. I did depot it, and I know it came in a palette, so I'm not sure if it's just discontinued or what happened. But anyway, I am applying this with a Morphe MB16 brush, which I sprayed Fix Plus on it first, just to make that shadow appear more metallic, and this way it just makes the shadow really pop. Now I'm just going to be picking up Humid by MAC, and I'm just going to be dabbing that on top of that olive green color. I know you really can't see a difference on camera, but in person it does make that olive green a little bit more vibrant and pop. Now using that same fluffy brush from earlier, I'm just going to be applying those darker brown shades back in the corner just to darken it up because it did get a little lost when we applied that olive green. With no additional product, I'm just going to go in with the same brushes and clean up the crease, and then also go in the fluffy brush, and again, no additional product, and just buff out everything to make sure everything is just blending out perfectly and seamlessly. Then from the same Morphe palette, I'm going to be picking up that extremely light gold shade. It's more like a dusty gold. I'm just going to be putting that in the inner corner of my eyes for a highlight. For liner, I'm going to be using MAC's Fluid Line in Black Track. I'm going to be applying this to my lash line first with a small angled brush. This one is from Morphe. It's an M160 brush. Just doing the lash line first and then jumping into the wing. I did switch to the other eye because I realized I was not in focus of the camera with the other eye. Anyway, I start from the corner and pull back to the end of the brow. That's a good guide to where the wing placement is supposed to be. Don't worry if it's a little choppy on the edge like mine is, because I'm just going to go in with some concealer and just a flat definer brush and clean up the edges of that. Now I'm just going in with a quick coat of mascara, and then I'm going to jump to my contour. This way it gives my lashes time to dry before I go in with false lashes. Now to contour my face, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D's Shade Light Contour Palette. I'm going to be using that middle shade, which is Shadow Play, and I'm going to be applying that to the hollows of my cheeks and blending that upwards with a angle brush. This one is the MAC 168 brush. And then I'm going to be switching over to a fluffier angled brush. This one is by Morphe. It's the E3. I'm going to be applying the same color to my hairline and also buffing out the cheek area that I just applied. And now for the best part, I'm going to highlight with the Mary Luminizer by the Balm, and I'm going to be using an e.l.f. blush brush. Say that 3 times over. And then I'm going to be using the Milani Luminoso blush with a Morphe E4 brush. And then I'm cleaning up my contour with Nye Translucent Powder and a Morphe MB30 brush. I'm just going to do tapping motions from the center of my ear down to the corner of my mouth. I'm not going to bake. I'm just going to brush that away because as you can see, it's going to make my lower face pretty light. For lashes, I'm using the Ardell Wispies, and then I'm going to go in with a smudge brush and use soft brown and just buff back and forth and blow out the lower lash line. And then with a small angled brush, I'm going to be taking those 2 dark brown shades and just adding that into the lash line just so my eyes have a bit more definition. Now to line my eyes, this is just personal preference. I like to use the nude liner from Rimmel London. This will just make my eyes appear a little bit bigger versus using a black liner, which will make my eyes appear a little bit smaller. Now to set my makeup, I'm going to use the Skindinavia Bridal Setting Spray. This is a must-have for me. This will make my makeup last all day. Then I'm just going to go in and coat my lower lashes. For my lips, I'm using Whirl by MAC. I'm going to line and completely fill them in. And then I'm going over top of that with ColourPop's Beeper. This is a perfect match for that Whirl liner. This completes the look. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Until next time, guys. Bye.